let's dive into first things first. Our vision is that we think decks are the perfect digital medium for the modern age. Deckable is, and it's really hard, it's really weird, but it's taken us a while to realize this. We are a media company, right? I've always said from the beginning we are like Audible for decks, but that's an easy statement to say, but just stepping into being a media company is a lot harder than it seems, or it is. It's actually much easier once you actually realize that's what you want to have to do, and that's I think where we are with this release, right? So this is one place for all your decks of all types, right? So you could have a tarot deck, you could have a coaching deck, you could have flashcards, all in one place, right? Because there really is 100,000 unique card decks in the world today, and there's a deck for everything. And so, and if there isn't, you should go and create it if there's one that's missing. But yeah, so it's all about mental wellness, personal growth, lifelong learning. It's about turning up, doing those little bits every day that nurture your daily practice. Draw a card, reflect on it, journal on it, meditate, etc. Right? So we use cards to learn, grow, and reflect, whether it's for business, and card decks are just as applicable in the business domain as they are in the personal growth space. And we know that digital, does more, knows more. Spotify, Audible, Kindle, Netflix. What is it we love about those platforms? It's what they tell us about what we've done that'll help improve our experience. So Spotify will you can create a radio station on Spotify of one song or one band, which will help you find other bands. What's cool about Netflix? It's telling you what to watch next, right? It's helping you with that choice. It's listening to everything you've done. And that's absolutely, in the crosshairs of what we're doing with Deckible. You're going to see more and more of that as we move forward. We, as a platform, you may not realize this, but as a platform, we get to see exactly what's happening and how people are doing stuff. But more importantly, we get to see what they're not doing, right? It's very easy to ask questions of what are we doing, but it's sometimes and often more important to ask what people are not doing. And that data is what's driven this release for Deckible. So let's have a look. What is a digital card deck platform? Because if you say the word digital card deck to most people, if they don't know about Deckible, they kind of glaze over. Like they're just like, what is that? I don't understand. And so what it is, and because the weird thing about card decks is they're really used by at the moment a subset of society. And we think that's wrong. We think everyone could be and should be and will be using card decks. In fact, we all use card decks. We've all had flashcards in our existence. I did my daughter's, father, father of the bride speech with index cards, which I actually put them on Deckable. But you know, we card decks are everywhere. We just maybe haven't seen it, right? So what does a card deck platform bring? Shuffling, it's randomization, it's suits, it's grouping the cards into similar clusters. It's how you arrange the cards when you choose them. So we support spreads or layouts, as we call them. We have freeform canvas, so you can move the cards around. You're going to see that. We've got automatic journaling and meditation, and people go, "Whoa, what does that mean?" The number of creators that even having seen Deckable, they still ask me, "So what do I have to do to add journaling to my deck?" Nothing. That's what automation means is you don't have to do anything. You draw a card and you can journal, right? Every time you draw a card in a platform like Deckable, it's going to save away everything you do because why wouldn't it? Why would you want it to forget what you've done, right? We add in audio and video per card, and this is what's stunning is we haven't just made card decks digital, we have transformed them into a digital medium for the digital age, for the modern consumer who is always doing stuff on the go. And there's too many people who are doom scrolling today on their phone. And we've got a platform and content that lets them create highly productive personal growth moments where you're on a bus, on a plane, on a train, in a cave, waiting in a doctor's reception, getting your hair cut, whatever it is. It's there for you on your phone to make most of those moments, right? So not only do we save the cards you've drawn, we make it visual. We can go back and see exactly how you laid the cards out on the canvas. We can see your journal, right? This stuff's important because we didn't just say, let's digitize a card deck, because if we did that, it would do 1/10 of what Deckable does. We said, What would a card deck want to be if it was made digital? And that's what we've set out to create. So we've integrated a guidebook. I find the guidebook is the funniest thing about the whole card deck industry. Nobody wanted or wants ever to have a guidebook. The only reason a guidebook exists is because there isn't any space on the card, right? You would put all the information on in the guidebook on the card, but you've got a two-sided paper problem. With digitally, we don't have that. We don't have a two-sided limit. So the third and fourth and fifth side of our cards are the guidebook. We don't need a separate guidebook. It's integrated. You don't have to look up the card, which is super tedious, so people don't do it. It's there, right? That is powerful. We also support mixed deck readings. So you can combine a card from here and a card from there and a card from there. That is a really powerful experience, both spiritually and in the workplace, because it's a wonderful randomization tool. Human beings, I'm incredibly creative, but I know that when I sit down and use card decks, I'm going to come up with things that I haven't thought of myself, combining random options, right? It's powerful to do that. So that's what you get from a digital card deck platform. And a lot of people ask me why now, and I won't go through all of these, but there's just so many factors that are driving why the time is now. Shortening of attention spans. Everyone's got mobile devices, right? There's a massive content, but we've got less time and a shorter attention span. We've got addicted to short form media. So how do we learn? Not Now, university is what I call just in case learning, right? We go to university, we study, and we learn stuff just in case it might be useful later. The modern way of doing it is to learn just in time. And if you've got a card deck that teaches you how to do marketing or onboarding or HR, or you don't need to learn that until you need to learn it. And that's the wonderful thing about card decks. So there's many trends as to why now, but all this adds up. And what we're creating, our mission is to create a bigger market for card decks. We know that if the people who use card decks are in the minority today, but they've got something. There's something about the experience. It's tactile, it's fun, it's engaging, it's playful, it's like a game. People's psychological resistance is broken down because they think they're playing. They are playing. It's playful, it's tactile. So that's why card decks work for people. And people use them in the workplace for coaching and creativity and facilitation. You can do divination and personal growth work through tarot and oracle and that. And you can also do therapy and wellness stuff. And all of that all resolves around having a daily practice, a daily routine of turning up and building healthy habits, right? And that's what we bring. But we think by making this available on your phone with an abundance of decks, is that we can create a much bigger market for card decks globally. And digitally, it's just more effective. Because when you want that card deck, where is it? At the moment, it's at home. In the future, right now with Deckible, it's in your pocket, it's on your phone. Every deck you want is there, right? So that's what we're creating. And we believe in abundance. We're creating there's more room, there's room for everyone. Um, this is the mobile age, and we can repurpose books, courses, ebooks, etc., card decks into a digital medium format that's on Deckible, and it's very engaging compared to other mediums. This is kind of going into a bit of a niche here, but it's worth knowing that we forget 80% of what we learn within 48 hours. That is scary, right? That means you're going to constantly be relearning things you forgot 48 plus hours ago. And the other, and that's a research-driven statement. It's not just my belief, it's research-driven. And then equally, the other thing that's research-driven is we remember 90% of what we experience. And so the idea is to create digital experiences, and that's what Deckible is, a digital experience. So comparing it to a book, you may not know this, but books, ebooks, and courses, 80% of people finish. So 80% of people do not finish a book they start. 94% of people do not finish a digital course that they start. That is terrible. If you're an author, that's enough to make you stop right there and say, I'm not going to write anything if I know no one's going to read it. What's the point, right? Whereas a deck, it's short, it's snackable, it's memorable, it's all about building habits. Unlike just a book that's words, with decks, it's words, it's visuals, and it's media, audio and video. and you're doing things with a deck. That's the big difference. When you're just reading a book, that's why it's forgettable because you're not doing anything. With card decks, you're drawing the cards, you're arranging the cards, you're journaling on them, you're meditating, you're thinking about it. So it's a participative experience, and that's why it's memorable and worth learning from. So, this is just to summarize that, but basically, snackable variety of card decks is ultimately personalizable. It's about habits and routine. It's about media. It's about learning, and it's all in one wellness experience. And that is really what we're creating with Deckible. And the thing to understand is, we're now at the point where we're approaching 1,000 decks on Deckible, and that's going to be a major party. We've got to decide what to do at that point. We're at the point we need to plan that now. But the value of Deckible is the creators times the community times the decks, and each deck is different, has a different value because there's more in there and some less. But as the decks get more valuable and there's more of them and there's more fans of Deckible and their love for Deckible grows as Deckible gets better, that is a multiplication that brings a lot of value to everyone, right? And we started 2 years ago with like 150 decks, I think. I forget the number now, but it was building that up and the products got better and better because we've learned what it is we're creating. And it's evolved so much. But right now, to see this, if you see Deckible for the first time today, you'll be like, whoa, I didn't know that was possible. I've used some other card deck apps before, but oh God, they're horrible. The other existing card decks have actually done a disservice to the card deck industry than what Deckible does, which we believe is to grow the category. Right? So that's the value that we bring. And so that's our vision and value.